My name is Jacob King, and today I'm speaking with.
Hi Jacob, my name is Ben Quaintrell.
And Mr. Quaintrell flew all the way out from the UK just to be here. So I'm very excited to dive deep into some of his insights on his experience here and just his life in general. So, Mr. Ben, tell us a little bit more. What do you do for work?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and be in the USA. I'm into real estate in the UK. I have several property real estate businesses, a real estate agency. I'm a property investor myself. I have an Airbnb business and also a property development company. So anything to do with residential property in the UK is my bag basically. And I've come over to see you fantastic people for the 10X Growth Conference over the last 3 days here in Las Vegas. And wow, what a few days we've had.
Wow. And what is it about real estate that kind of gravitated you in the space as a whole?
Yeah, so I'm 41 years old, but I've been in real estate since I was 20 after leaving university. Just real estate for me is just a really exciting industry. It's property, but it's actually people. You're dealing with people all the time, meeting people at properties, property management, selling properties, leasing properties. So it's a really exciting industry. And obviously you get to come and see fantastic properties like we are here. So it's one of them industries where it doesn't stop. It's always busy, it's always happening. And people are always going to need somewhere to live. So it's one of them industries that will always do well and sail through.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ben, we talked a little bit before, off the cameras about the difference between America and the UK culture-wise. Tell me a little bit about that. You being from the UK and you actually coming to the States and knowing people here, what is some of the biggest differences culture-wise?
Yeah, I just find the US absolutely fantastic for networking, business, people wanting to help each other. And now, I'm not saying, for the UK watchers, the UK is a fantastic place, and I've built my business in the UK, and I've networked all over the UK, and it's great. But when you come to the USA, the culture is just that level higher. Everyone wants to introduce themselves, everyone wants to share their business details, everyone wants to help you, what you're doing, where you're from, how can I help you? And I think that culturally, for me in the USA, is obviously why the USA is such a world power is because of the people and the culture of innovation, wanting to do business, entrepreneurship. I think in the UK, we have entrepreneurship, but it's not encouraged as much as it is here, and I think that's where we lack.
Okay. And as you explain that in its simplest form, I think it's just value add, right? Americans are always looking for ways to add value to organizations. Do you think that doesn't exist in the UK, or is it more so a transactional approach to everything?
I would say so, yeah. A lot of the UK is, it's a fantastic place, but yeah, I would agree with that. I think a lot of the people are more like, maybe what's in it for me, rather than a culture of, do you know what, let's help each other and we'll grow together. You can just feel it when you go to a business conference in Vegas. Everybody is just hungry, wanting to grow, wanting to learn, wanting to do business, and you can just feel the difference that compared to the UK.
Now, Mr. Ben, you're relatively successful in the real estate endeavors that you go to and focus on now. Why come all the way to the States to come to a conference? Why come to seek to learn more? You're doing pretty well for yourself right now.
Yeah, obviously we were at the 10X Growth Conference, and I've followed Grant Cardone for several years now, and I really, think Grant is fantastic, and I've always wanted to come to the conference. I've been to the online before, so it was an opportunity to come with my friend and experience it, firsthand, and see the speakers and meet and network. And yeah, I've always wanted to come, and I will definitely be coming back. That's for sure.
And Mr. Ben, I think one of the things that Grant has done that's kind of made him successful in all of his endeavors is making sure he's adding value to the people in his organization, as well as bringing in an extraordinary experience. How can you implement how can you implement that in the real estate business, giving people an extraordinary experience?
So yeah, there's a few different points to that. Yeah, so obviously, first of all, your team, the people around you. It's important to bring them on that journey of growth, and growth could mean financial growth. It could mean educational growth, so continuing to learn, continuing to develop. All our team at My Property Box in England, in the UK, is our company structure is all about helping people, and if they so wish, help them to grow property portfolios and build their own property portfolios. So having that culture is important to wanting to help other people. Equally, also as well, separately to that, it's outside of the business. So property investors, networking, local communities, local people, school children wanting to know about property entrepreneurship and business and how things grow is a key part, and a key part to obviously you guys in the USA and your culture.
Mr. Ben, what's the most amount of money you think your businesses have made over the course of a single year?
Our turnover is just over 3 million. So yeah.
What are some of the biggest mistakes you've made in pursuit of making $3 million a year?
Not learning quick enough, not surrounding yourself with the right people quick enough. I've been in business 13 years, and certainly the early days, I was very much working in the business rather than on the business, and I was focused on the day-to-day tasks within the business. Over the last sort of 5-6 years, as you go through the journey of entrepreneurship and business, you realise the importance of working on the business, taking a step out and focusing on growth and learning off other people that have done it. And I think although the business is successful and we're 13 years in, I could have done it a lot quicker if I just spent time continuing to learn. I think that's one of the key things, to understanding you never stop learning.
And who are some mentors in your life that you're kind of looking to for help and guidance so that you can continue to learn? Are those people, are those books, are those podcasts, are those people like Grant?
Yeah, absolutely. People like Grant. I first read the 10X Rule book in COVID in March 2020. And that was one of the key turning points for me for business growth. But yeah, other books I could recommend is the Babylon. That's a good one. There's a handful of books I've read over the years which which you need to commit to keep learning. And I didn't do that in the early years. The podcast didn't exist. There was networking, but there wasn't really that much networking. Yeah. So it's important, like I said, to surround yourself with the right people, read the right books, go to the right events, and really put yourself out there.
Stay surrounding yourself with the right people. Obviously, people have heard time and time again, the 5 people you spend the most time around are going to map, the course of your life and all of that. But how important is the group that you surround yourself with, and how has that shaped who you are today?
Oh, it's absolute key. If you're the cleverest person in the room or the wealthiest, you're in the wrong room. And it is absolutely about getting around the people that are doing more than you. To continue your journey of learning and successful entrepreneurship, it's surrounding yourself with people that are doing more than you and learning from them. I love meeting business people, experienced business people, and I'm just learning from them all the time. I'm asking them questions. I'm like a sponge, because ultimately you're learning from the mistakes they've made and the journey they've been through. So hopefully that helps you along your journey.
Mr. Ben, what are some of the biggest sacrifices you've had to give up personally, or some of the biggest disciplines you've had to learn to develop over the course of your career?
So in the early years, in 2012, I was fortunate enough. I gave up my property where I lived. I rented it out, and I moved in with my parents, so I could cost save on my living. So all the money I could invest back into the business for growth. So early day sacrifice, and you've got to do that as an entrepreneur. You've got to take sacrifices early on for the benefit of the business long term. Spending money on bad debt, on fancy cars and clothes and going out, in them early stages of your business, doesn't help your business growth. It's all about reinvesting back into your growth. And then obviously time sacrifices, have a young family. And it's not easy having your business because, when you're self-employed, there isn't such a thing as 9 till 5 working. It's 24/7, you're reactive all the time. It's important, you have to spend time with your family and take time out. Otherwise, what is it all for? But any business owner that's watching this knows that you're never really fully switched off. You're living and breathing it. Like Grant says, the book, Be Obsessed, Not Be Average. That is 100% right.
Mr. Ben, do you have a family back at home?
I do, yeah. I'm married and I have 2 fantastic children, a little girl called Penny who's 9 and a little boy, Harry, who's 6.
How do you balance and manage everything as a successful entrepreneur and a family man as well?
It's not easy, but as the years have gone by, you become better at it. And ultimately, a sign of its success is freedom. Freedom to do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. And if that means taking a poorly parent to the hospital, or spending time with your kids, or going out for the day with the family, then that they can't put a value on that. That is true success of freedom. So it's absolutely massively important to make sure you take time with the most important things in life.
Mr. Ben, being where you are right now, what are some insights you would have given yourself as you were making your debut into the real estate business?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. Yeah, again, like we've already said, surround yourself with the right people. In them early years, you don't know what you don't know. You start a business off, but you're not really aware in them early years of what information is out there ultimately. So yeah, surround yourself with the right people. Get the correct information, network, meet people, and the other thing as well is, not being scared to fail. Like you'll have heard people say, you've got to fail your way to success. Trying different things, putting yourself out of your comfort zone, out of your comfort bubble is absolutely important. I think I played it safe in them first few years, scared to try new things. You're just very much guarded from your business. So just pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is one of the key things as well.
And just to make sure we're clear, there's no technical knowledge that you would have given yourself. It's just these overlying principles.
Absolutely, yeah, overlying principles. Because ultimately, if I don't know how to do something, I'll just go and ask the expert, whether that's technology. I don't need to know how electricity works to switch these lights on. If you need attorneys, solicitors, accountants, always you surround yourself with the experts. If you don't know how to do something, then ask an expert. I've always, certainly in the most recent years, that's one of the key things.
Okay. And last question for you here, Mr. Ben. If you had the attention of everybody in the world, people in the UK and people in America, people all over the place, people that like you and people that don't like you, what would you say?
I would say, never give up on your dreams. If you want to be successful and you really want to go for it, you've just got to go for it and never give up and not be scared to make mistakes and not be scared to fail and just believe in yourself. Absolutely. You're going to take some shots along the way. You're going to get some people that don't believe in you. You're going to get some people that backstab you. But every time you stand up and you dust yourself off and you just keep going and keep going.
Mr. Ben, it's been a pleasure. Thank you
for having me. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.